Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part number 32 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War, and in today's episode, both Midir and Aaron were able to pass through the arena, and now I can change to a Falconite. I would like to do so now. Aaron's glow up, is it going to be good, or is it going to be lackluster? Find out next time on Fire Emblem 4. Alright. +7 magic, +5 resistance. She doesn't get any strength buff. Yeah. Which is kind of a shame, but it does mean that she could use magical weapons from the air, as well as now that she has C rank staves, A rank in lances and swords, she's pretty much more combatively viable to use other weapons if she wanted. The Brave Lance is the best lance she's going to have for basic all-around utility in combat. Now she has the Adept class skill, which means that she currently, and I believe she does get a 30 cap on her speed, I think. But I believe currently this means that minus her, of course, abysmal attack speed weight from this weapon, so she's going to have a 17 plus 20% chance, a 37% chance to double attack in a single round. This means that her Brave weapon is going to actually quad each time she attacks, and then she could potentially attack up to 8 times, which is insane. This makes her much more viable concerning combat than otherwise. I was thinking about putting Dew through the arena, but I just don't find it to be all that useful. Dew is hardly going to be leaving the castle in the first place. He is going to be giving Sigurd all of his gold next particular chapter, because Sigurd does have to leave the castle with the Paragon band. Let alone the fact that I have a lot of preparations for the next chapter. There's a bunch of story coming up, so I think for the better, I should just go ahead and seize.
Sire, Queen Rana has arrived! Lord Sigurd, that was quite the fierce battle, wasn't it? Are you unharmed?
Yeah, somehow I'm okay.
I know I've asked so much of you already, Lord Sigurd, but would you and your army please station yourselves here at Zaxxon? Granvale's Lord Langbolt has already swept in with an immense army and conquered Lubeck Castle to our east. The people of Celeste are terrified that this will prove to be but a prelude to full-scale war with Granvale.
Your Highness, I believe Langbolt's army is only here for me. I've no desire to needlessly endanger you or your citizens, after all you've done for us. My men and I are leaving now. I have a score to settle with Langbolt.
What recklessness! How could you possibly prevail like this?
They're coming for me no matter what. If we remain here, then they'll just invade. We can't afford to waste time debating this.
Is that so? How sad.
Your Highness, thank you so much. You've given me the most wonderful year here, and you've done so much to put my mind at ease. My mother died when I was still very young, so as I grew up, I never knew the unconditional love of a mother. But thanks to you, here in Celeste, I've come to know that very same warmth. You're like a second mother to me now. Take care of yourself, Your Highness. I hope that someday, once this is all over, we'll have a chance to meet again.
As do I, Lord Sigurd. Please, stay vigilant out there and keep yourself safe. From the bottom of my heart, I pray that you and Deidre will soon be reunited.
I pray that too. Their relationship is beautiful. The Celestian Civil War is over, and the Granvale army awaits Sigurd. Zaxxon Castle has barely fallen, yet before Sigurd can so much as rest, the hordes of Granvale stand before him at the captured Lubeck Castle. The Granvale commander, Duke Langbolt, is a longtime enemy of Sigurd's father. For Sigurd, to challenge Langbolt is an opportunity to avenge his father, Byron. Framed by Langbolt for his crimes. Beyond Lubeck, in the desert town Fenora, Lord Arvis's elite warriors stand guard. Under the command of the war mage Vaha, Veltomer Castle, on Granvale's border with the Yid Desert, is defended by Lord Arvis' trusted aide, General Ida. And in Valhalla, the royal capital of Grandval, Lord Arvis serves to aid the bedridden. King Asmir, while Chancellor Reptor of Frege maintains peace and order in the city. As a long road to Valhalla awaits Sigurd, a clash with Grandval en route is inevitable. Sigurd refuses to endanger the people of Celeste any further in this conflict. He is determined to fight to the end. The year is Grand 760, early spring. The fields of Celeste peacefully rest beneath a deep blanket of snow. Chapter 5, Threshold of Fate.
Sigurd, no, I mustn't die yet. No, not until the exalted blade is in your hands.
Lubeck Castle.
My lord, we've sighted the fugitive Duke Byron. We caught him resting, but he slipped away. It seems as if he plans to escape to Celeste.
What? You simpleton! Get out there and hunt him down immediately. My ambush may have put an end to Chalfie's Paladin Brigade, the Gruenritter, but the survival of Byron alone leaves that utterly meaningless.
Yes, sir, but you see, my lord, Byron is still gravely wounded. Surely he has very little time left.
I've never heard such naive drivel. Byron may not be yet long for this world, but he's determined to get that sword Tyrfing to his son with the very last of his strength. Did you not understand the threat that Sigurd would pose to us should he get his hands on that damnable sword? Move out and kill Byron immediately.
Yes, sir. Consider it done.
For that matter, where in the blazes is Danon and with his reinforcements? For the gods' sake, he's leading the elite Gruenritter Brigade. How could it take him so long to put down that Isaacyan resistance? First Lex and now Danon? Why must both of my sons be so worthless?
Come now, Lord Langbolt, sir. Don't worry about a thing. After all, you've still got the Bergenritter on your side.
I suppose you're right, Andre. Be sure that your men are ready to join the fray at a moment's notice.
It would be my pleasure, sir.
Damn that insolent worm! To think he is even the slightest bit remorseful for slaying his own father! Duke Ring, may you be at peace.
Zaxxon Castle. Looks like the winter time has passed, being spring. Beautiful.
Sire, we've sighted a lone knight to our east, who appears to be heading our way.
Is he an enemy?
I don't believe so. The Lubeck occupation seems to be pursuing him, so they're most likely not with him.
I see. Let's give him a hand. We'll be chasing with Langbolt's army sooner or later, so why not make the first move? Move out. Our target is their front lines. Today's victory hinges on this first strike. So, as you probably could see there, if you're paying attention to the text, I did have to correct some things there. I don't understand why in the same sentence this Project Naga is correct by saying him, but also incorrect by saying them. You can never in the English language ever has it ever been accepted until the last 5 years to call somebody a them. You cannot be more than one person. Them always, they, them always implies multiplicity. You cannot be more than one person. You are either he or she, given by birth, God Almighty. Period. Point blank. And if the person in question is unknown, in the English language, you always assume the masculine. So he would just say he. It's so damned simple. It's disgusting. But before I move on with preparations of this particular chapter, I did want to talk a little bit about the actual chapter itself. So you have a lot of units here, like these Brave Axe particular enemies. These are easy pickings for somebody like Sigurd. That's pretty much what they're here for. So that Sigurd can get some KOs on his much-needed Brave sword. These guys here are obviously way out of range of Sigurd. The thing is that the villages all around the castle of Zaxxon are under siege by brigands. And this means that all of your units that aren't going to be leading with Sigurd in the charge have more than enough to do. You have Byron here. Byron only has 20 HP. He is a level 30 Master Knight. This is to show that he's weakened. These are not his actual stats. At least I wouldn't say they are. They could be. That's definitely not his HP, though. There's just no way a level 30 Master Knight, I'm pretty sure Master Knight's base HP is higher than this. But he comes with a broken sword, and this is the reason why he's being defeated. This broken sword is a star rank. It is the Holy Tyrfing, and the namesake weapon of Byron and Sigurd's Heritage Crusader. Now, the fact of the matter is he's being pursued by Slater, the Axe Knights. These guys are more fodder for Sigurd. And then Andre, the brave bow-wielding knights. All of these guys have brave bows, whereas all of these guys just have steel axes. These guys are kind of very pathetic in conjunction, in like deference to these folks here. The Bergen Ritter are way more of a threat, but these could just be easily given to somebody like Azel or Medir, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Of course, there are Ballista here. They all have Iron Ballista, so these are 25 might, and the might of the weapons are added with the strength of the particular unit in this game, unlike other games, which is very interesting. I'm going to be giving Sigurd as many of these villages as I possibly can because he needs gold. It doesn't seem like he's going to, but he needs it. The big boss of this particular part of this chapter is Langbolt, a Baron, level 30, with one of the more formidable weapons in this game. And I'm not even kidding. A lot of people like to joke about the Hellswath because it's an axe and it has weapon triangle disadvantage against swords, but that really doesn't matter. It's a 70 hit, 30 might, 20 weight exalted weapon. So he does have -4 attack speed. He doesn't care about that. The guy has 41 defense and 20 resistance. Now, the easiest way to deal with him is to just use your magical units like Azel. Particularly Lewin is a better choice for this, but Azel is a good choice as well. To just strike him. Azel could, at this moment, even with his 20 resistance, bring him down to, well, he would be doing 19 times 2, because I'm pretty sure Azel has a 39 mighted attack. Okay, only 20, well, yeah, 14, yeah, 39 might on his particular weapon. So Azel would be a decent choice for this. I think Lewin is a better choice. I'm probably going to be moving Lewin over here as much as possible to help with this as well. Just because Langbolt is kind of a nuisance. Without crit on the Brave Sword and max strength and potentially the Power Ring, you're not beating this guy with Sigurd. You're just not. He is insanely defensive, insanely powerful. Not really the hardest boss in this chapter either. Not even by a long shot, if you can believe it. With that being said, however, it is time for me to continue the preparations of my chapter. I have a lot to do before this starts, so I will see you in just a moment. Alright, gamers, most of my preparations have been taken care of. Of course, I still have to get the Brave Sword and the Paragon Ring, or Band, back on Sigurd. He will be able to do that, at least relatively easily. I am going to be... I did promote Jamka to Sniper. This is not relevant. He didn't gain anything from this other than Pursuit class skill, but didn't he already have Pursuit? I'm almost certain he had... Oh, I think archers have Pursuit regardless. So I'm going to be going through the arena and showcasing it with Rekesis. And I think the reason why I'm going to do this is because, for one, I believe that she's an underlooked gem when it comes to combat, just because her start is so bad. The problem is that she's not like other units that have a bad start and don't go anywhere and don't have any utility to provide. She is a very incredible unit once she gets to the point she needs to be. Of course, that takes some doing, and I understand that that's not for everybody, but I believe she's worth the effort. Now, besides going through and giving a narration to the arena, I thought I would give a little bit of a play-by-play of what my plan is for this particular chapter. So the villages surrounding the castle, I'm going to be getting with everybody that's going to attack. Maybe even just like Dew will get them all, and then Dew can give the gold to somebody else. I was thinking about allowing him to give the gold to Sigurd later on. That could be very viable. It's not necessary. And the reason why it's not necessary is because the fact of the matter is that I don't need the Tyrfing fixed to maximum capacity. It just needs to be fixed well enough to be used a few times for like some of the bosses later on. Because again, the Brave Sword is where it's at. It's what I'm going to be focusing on. The Tyrfing is not as good as the Brave Sword once the Brave Sword gets crit. Now, I will tell you, it is actually very viable to get crit on this particular chapter, or I should say close to it, with the Tyrfing alone. And if you could get crit on the Tyrfing, that might just very well be even more powerful than, in some instances, it's not exactly, but more powerful than even the Forseti in some instances, because it's a sword. And swords have some busted attributes, like the crazy weight ratio difference compared to other weapons, as well as the fact that swords are just very good all around. I don't think you're KOing Rakusis there, unfortunately for you. And she was probably quadding you again. Poor old Draco Knight. Nice. 1 bit of strength. She's at max, which is good. I wish this game demonstrated maxes by changing the color like some games do. I find that to be quite useful. It's not necessary, but it is useful. And having a little bit better UI understanding of everything is just all in all good, right? I cannot believe this guy just missed that many 50s in a row. Very funny, very funny. So I'm going to be using my units to mop up the units around. I'm going to leave Lex behind. I'm going to have Bridget. So I'm going to have units that can deal with all of these Axe Knights that are in the back, as well as the Kruger, or Klepper. This is Klepper with the Earth Sword. He's a rogue. He's basically what good old Dew turns into. Because the Earth Sword is so bad with its uses, you would think it'd be bad in the arena. But your weapons can't break mid-fight in the arena, so he could literally attack you 155 times with the Earth Sword, and it won't break, which is pretty great. That is the arena finished. But the fact of the matter is, exactly 5 uses, huh? The fact of the matter is that I really want to get some use of the Tyrfing, but I don't think a lot of it's going to be needed. But I would recommend repairing it to some degree, because it's still a very good weapon. It's still needful. It's still useful. Depart castle. Where can she go? So I do have to be very careful about this one. Of course, I'm not going to depart right yet, because Sigurd actually has a couple of things he needs to do. Like, for instance, he needs to buy the Paragon Band. The Brave Sword. Now, you can't fully repair the Brave Sword right yet. That's where Dew comes in. So I'm just going to be giving all of Dew's gold to Sigurd right now. This is for Brave Sword repairs, as well as the other weapons that he's going to be using. So he has 27,000 gold now, whereas he had virtually none. This is pretty darn good. The silver sword doesn't really need repairing, but just in case I need another weapon, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to be rushing as much as I possibly can in certain aspects, in certain areas of this particular chapter, and I'm only going to be bringing a few units along for the show. I still have some units that need, like Claude and Sylvia still need to be paired. Dew and Bridget still need to be repaired. Tiltu and Lewin still need to be paired. So I do have to keep that in mind as well. Unfortunately, it's just something you have to take into account. Because Tiltu and Lewin, well, Lewin particularly has to go help with Hellswath, Tiltu's going to go with him for the time being. Hopefully not for long, though. Bridget and Dew, Bridget's just going to stay here for the time being because she is not really needed. My little strike force here is going to consist of Midir, Rekessus, Azel, and Sigurd, as well as Sylvia for a time. Again, the problem is that she's still not paired with Claude, so I can't technically have her go completely off the rails with them. And wait right there. So another interesting thing is I always like having Aaron go over here and fight for this village, because otherwise nobody else is going to reliably reach this without being out of the way. So I like doing that. And Lex can just start taking care of some of these enemies. Of course, Ideen and friends, including Alec and the rest of my crew over here, are going to be staying behind to help out with the foes over here. Lex is going to be the main tank, let alone the fact that he needs crit still on his Brave Axe, but for the most part, I'm going to be able to use many of the rest of my units to the best of their abilities, making sure I am good. So the Brave Axe Commander, none of these guys here are a threat at all. And I want Sigurd to deal with all of them. Perfect. So with that in mind, unfortunately, the rest of these guys actually cannot move any further up than right here, because like I said, I don't want them to get any of this experience points, and that's perfectly fine. I think that's everybody who needs to be moved, and that's the end of my turn. Byron does come towards you, which is pretty good. If not, it would not be great. Honestly, it would be a little bit of a struggle having to reach him quickly. There's actually a little bit of a trick you can do too, and I'm going to be doing it next turn with Sigurd. So Byron can reach Sigurd when he visits the village. So I'm actually going to KO the ruffian who's going to try to burn down the village with Sigurd, and I'm going to take the village, wait with him there, and then of course Byron's going to talk to Sigurd, which is very nice. The two mages over here are very clear fodder for Azel and Midir. Sigurd's going to use quite a bit of his Brave Sword in dealing with the Axe Knights that are en route, as well as dealing with the guys around the beginning castle, so getting him as much gold as possible, it's just a very good idea. There is a little bit of a mistake I did in Chapter 3, and I would strongly recommend against this particular mistake, and that is I let Deidre go without selling her aura and giving her gold to Sigurd. So Sigurd is actually behind by like 20-something gold. That's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, as you can see, he's still doing fine. Everything's still going to go by as planned. But because I did this, I might have to give a little bit more gold with due, which is one of the reasons why the villages around the castle are all going to be given to due, so that just in case I have need of it, I can. The problem is that due has to get all of these villages while staying within range of Brigid and be warped back, or warped to the middle castle, the last castle before you get to the final one, that is, with Ideen, so that at the exact same time that Sigurd's there, because you don't want to just take forever just waiting for Sigurd to, or for Dew to get to that castle. In order for them to like intersect in their paths, and for Dew to be able to give that gold to Sigurd. It's kind of a little bit of a tricky plan, but it can, and it does oftentimes work as long as you are patient and calculating.
Valhalla Castle. Lord Arvis, are Sigurd and his party truly on the march to our holy capital?
Indeed, but we've no cause for alarm. Duke Langbolt and his army stand ready at Lubeck. It is only a matter of time before their insurrection is suppressed.
Even so, even now, it is almost beyond belief, is it not? That Lord Byron would slay Kurth, or that Sigurd would incite a rebellion.
Your Majesty, if I may re-explain once more. Lord Byron was plotting against the crown in concert with the late Lord Ring of Ljungby. His Highness fell afoul of their assault, an act to which our very own Duke Reptor and Langbolt bore witness. His Highness learned of their schemes to seize the throne from the royal family too late, and paid for it with his life. Naturally, Lord Sigurd had a hand in his father's revolt. What clearer proof is there than how he still harbors an enemy, the Isakian prince? There is no question their treason against the state is grave. I, too, feel this pain as my own, having lost not only a prince but a father-in-law. And in the name of my beloved wife, Princess Deidre, I will never allow Sigurd's traitorous rampage to stand. Even if Duke Langbolt fails to defeat him, that is not the end. The elite fire mages of House Veltomer, the Rottenritter, stand ready to suppress this rebellion once and for all.
I see. If you say it is so, then perhaps this could never have been avoided. Arvis, about Deidre.
Oh, Grandfather, are you sure you feel all right? Please, you mustn't strain yourself. Come lie down.
Ah, Deidre, bless you. You truly are a sweet child. Even if I have little time left, you give me hope for Granville's future. I can scarcely imagine when Kurth would have had his finest daughter as you. But there is no doubt in my mind none outside the royal house Valhalla possess the same brand that graces your brow. Whence did you come, my dear? Where in the world have you been all along?
I'm so sorry, Grandfather, I simply don't remember. Try as I may, I cannot recall even a single thing.
Ah, forgive me, my dear. I know you have suffered more and longer than any of us.
From the moment I found her lost in the castle grounds, it was clear she had no memory of her past. All she knew was her own name. The rest of her past is lost to her. At first I sought only to aid her out of sympathy, as any decent man would do, but before long love took root within me. With all due respect, Deidre, not once did I suspect that you could possibly be the daughter of our late Prince Kurth.
I remember well the day you introduced her as the woman you wished to marry. I simply could not believe what I saw. At first sight I knew, perhaps as only family can, precisely as I thought, beneath your circlet lies the brand of Naga. Lord Arvis, I trust you understand. Only a full-blooded heir to St. Heim can rightfully wield the Book of Naga and release its true holy power. And the power of Naga is the only power able to oppose the Dark Lord Lopter.
I am well aware of the legend, sire.
The holy lineage of our Lord Naga and St. Heim must never perish. Deidre, you must bear a son with all due haste. And should your son be so fortunate as to inherit Naga's power, he shall be the Prince of Granville and shall claim the throne once I am no more. Lord Arvis, until your son has grown into a man, you shall be his regent. Guide him well to adulthood. I trust you understand.
Interesting. Princess Deidre. Where have we heard that name before? Oh, that's amusing. Yeah, Byron can absolutely reach the village, and that's exactly what I'm going to allow him to do. First and foremost, the ruffian must be vanquished. You kind of don't want to go and meet... hold on one moment.
That Langbolt's got his thugs going around the castle and clearing out every village they can find. Good thing we somehow kept a little bit of gold hidden away from those brutes. Go on, take it. We know you need it more than us.
Yeah, Sigurd needs every drop of gold he can possibly get. So you don't want to go and talk to Byron, by the way, because the event that will occur will actually give Sigurd a sword, and I'm pretty sure you can guess what sword it is. And the sword happens to be broken. I think one of the reasons why these guys are just steel axe wielding knights, along with this Slater wielding a silver axe, is so that if you happen to do this, Sigurd doesn't just automatically die. But I've seen Sigurd still automatically die. It's not really a good thing, and I would strongly recommend against it. What I would do instead is do what I'm doing here, and have Sigurd reach the village. Have Byron talk to him. He's out of the range of all of the Axe Knights, and then you'll be able to you will just be able to deal with them at your own leisure. And of course, I'm going to use the light brand here. 29 times 2 is more than enough damage to deal with this Thunder Mage wielding Lubeck unit. And of course, Rakesis needs to heal up Azel as well. The light brand is at 28 kills. It's getting there, it's getting there. It's just not quite there yet. I'm going to mend you up. Sigurd will be mended up next turn. I might have to move back just ever so slightly again because I want Sigurd to get the KOs here again. I could probably give some of them to... Oh, he's very close to crit. I could probably give some of them to Azel and Medir. That's not necessarily a bad idea. And moving these yahoos... I'm going to dance with you. And of course, I can only move her 6 spaces away. Well, not really. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she can move here. Claude can sit right next to her. And these two can continue pairing. Aaron has a village to save. Brave Axe, and I'm doing so much damage here. Not enough to actually KO, but it's okay. I'm just going to move Lex downward. I'm actually going to take this KO with Ira, not because I want her to have the KO, but just because I don't want him to get any more of the gold from this village lost. Alright, Do. And Bridget. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna reset for that. I know it seems kind of silly, but I would actually like Do and Bridget to go southward first. Hilariously, I don't think Arden stands a chance at guarding the castle anymore, but I'm still going to put him up there to guard for, you know, just in case. Bridget should be able to KO him next turn, hopefully, which would be nice. These guys are going to take a few turns to get over here. I don't know that it's viable to have Do get all 3 of these villages. I might just give one of them to, like, I don't know. I actually don't. I don't see like a particular good candidate for the 3rd village, if I'm being honest. But that's everybody, so it is time for me to end my turn.
It can't be. Father, thank the gods you're alive. Sigurd, what a splendid young man you've become.
Father, come on, you mustn't give in now.
No, there's no hope left for me now. Listen well, my son. Langbolt was Prince Kurth's true killer. And Reptor is the one holding his leash. His Majesty must know the truth. Death holds no fear for me. But I cannot die in peace, not knowing if our honor shall be cleansed of these lives.
It's just as I thought all along. Rest assured, Father, our good name will be cleared. I promise.
Sigurd, I beg your forgiveness. 'Tis my negligence which condemned you to these torments. Sigurd, take this. It is Tyrfing, our exalted blade.
Tyrfing, but Father, surely you'll still need this.
Take it, Sigurd. Use it to restore our honor.
Father, hold on, please, Father.
Sire.
Why in the world did he have to? Raptor, Langbolt, mark my words. You will pay dearly for all you've done.
Broken sword obtained. It's unfortunate that it's broken. But I think the reason why that is just because you can't just get this weapon for free. At least in Kaga's mind, I suppose. There's plenty of other holy weapons you can get for free, but this one, no. Oh, man. Alright. So I won't have to move back so far. In fact, I don't think I'll have to move back much at all with my particular units. And, of course, the villages continue to burn. Just a little bit. I wish you could speed up the animations in this game some way, shape, or form, but you just really cannot, and it's such a shame. All right, Sigurd's phase. Time to go. Okay, so yeah, I don't have to move them back any, but I do have to make sure that everyone can reach Sigurd. All right, I'm gonna equip the Brave Sword here. Now, the interesting thing is like I said before, the Broken Sword, anytime you get a weapon through an event, especially a holy weapon, I believe that weapon just auto-equips. The Broken Sword would auto-equip there over his Brave Sword or whatever else. And what that means is that he just kind of loses the fight. The only way that this is avoidable is if you have an inventory full of items with Sigurd, which is actually very possible. You could do that. There's plenty of extra weapons and items you could throw his way to make sure he has a full inventory. Then you could throw Tyrfing into his inventory, his convoy, basically, and just repair it later. I actually have a very interesting plan here. After I take care of this particular turn of enemies, I need to make sure that I can heal Sigurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this will be enough. I'm going to go ahead and heal Sigurd because he might take some damage. I'm highly doubting that he's going to take any kind of like significant actual damage here, but it's still possible, and why have that happen if you can avoid it? All right. I'm going to mend you up, and of course, I'm not going to have Rakessus in the way because then Sigurd wouldn't be able to attack all of these guys. I want all of them to be defeated by Sigurd. It just makes the most sense here. I will be returning Sigurd, like I was about to say, after this particular turn. Let's see, Aaron next. Thief Sword. And when I return him, I'm going to be repairing the Brave Sword as well as his Tyrfing, and then you'll get to see all of the glory of Tyrfing. 5,000 gold obtained. I actually don't think that Aaron needs gold whatsoever. No, she can still use a little bit. So I'm going to defeat him, but I'm also going to rummage over here with... I might stay over here with Aaron. I'm not entirely sure. Because... No... I think I'm going to end up going with my units up here. Aaron's going to end up becoming a part of the 4 that move forward. And I can just wait a moment for all these guys. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Dew can actually go ahead and get some gold here from the ruffian, as well as steal the village. I think whatever mounted unit I just moved to the left is going to get that village, because I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do that. I might. In fact, I'm going to try anyway, just because I think it would be a good idea. She doesn't need the... I actually think she might need the UFL here. And I want this KO as quick as possible. I don't want this ruffian to stick around. The UFL is totally usable. In fact, you could break it for all anybody cares. It does, I think, retain its uses. I think every weapon that you inherit or don't inherit retains uses upon 2nd generation. So you do want to keep that in mind. Other than that, I think my turn is over. And of course, Sigurd's going to go ahead and get these KOs. The reason why I don't care if something like the UFL uses all of its uses is because if it happens, why would you attack Claude? I did not think I moved somebody within the range of another. Oh, I really hope another unit's not able to reach Claude. That would be such a shame. But the reason why is because when the particular unit who comes in Gen 2 for you to fight, he is, or to recruit with the UFL, I believe he's first in enemy unit, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken there. Either way, it doesn't matter. Whether I use it or not, whether I repair it or not. And what's cool about that is she can just blow it through the arena. She is a viable fighter against some of the bosses in this chapter, but the man, Langbald himself, using the Hellswath is not one of them. She is not good against him. Though she has a holy weapon of her own. And it does give her plus 10 strength. She has 40 extra might on top of her actual strength. The problem with that is it doesn't really matter. He has so much defense, 41 defense, and that 30 extra avoid. It's just kind of insane. Langbolt is probably the toughest enemy to take in the 1st generation if you're not careful. I think there is one enemy that is potentially tougher, who's also in this chapter, but he's also an interesting case because he's not on a gate, and he doesn't have really any defensive buffs from his particular weapon. What's this? You rebels have already come this far? How could you have breached our front line so quickly? Yeah, so Sigurd actually took quite a few hits here. I don't think even if every last one of them were to hit him that he would die, but still. We've been breached too. Yeah, this village is probably going to be pretty low by the time I actually do reach it. Alright. So this next turn, I will be able to tank all of these guys with Lex. Now, of course, Lex is going to have a little bit of an issue. I suppose it's our turn. Move out. Carve the terror of the beg and return to the traitor's heart. Yeah, I suppose he's going to take a lot of damage from the magic units, but it's not that big a deal. Really, it's not. And healing up with the UFL. One of the most useless skills that a holy weapon gives in this particular game. I would love to continue this episode, but I think it has gone on more than long enough, as I actually showed off an extra 7 or so minutes with the arena and talked about my particular plan at the start of the particular chapter in question. There's a lot left to do, including dealing with Andre's group. I can't wait to slay them, and then Langbolt's group before moving on into the Yeed Desert and seeing the story unfold there. As well as the fact that I need to get Sigurd back so that he can repair the good old Brave Sword, which is only at 11 uses, and the Broken Tearfang, which, by the way, though it's going to be very useful for some things in this fight, it's not going to be... Actually, it's incredibly useful for certain things, more than you would imagine. The Tearfang is definitely something you do want to repair. I'm not telling you don't repair it. But the Brave Sword is going to be more key in defeating most of the enemies that I fight against. But do remember that in this particular game, you can re-equip a different weapon after you use another one. That's going to be very clearly useful when I do repair the Tearfang. With all that being said, I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote or follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform, and leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.